guys. Let me welcome everybody back into the big call. Um, we did go all the way from Thursday to Tuesday night, that 5-day span, with quite a lot that was indicating that we were really ready to go. Probably, I'm going to say virtually every day. Maybe not Sunday. We kind of leapfrogged over Sunday, but it looked good for Monday, and it looked good for last night for us. And we did not move along, but other people in the system did yesterday. And today it seems as though where we are now is that people that things that we were told yesterday that would happen so that we would be able to start our notification and our redemption process today looks like we've been pushed off another day or so. That's what it looks like. Now, it doesn't mean everything is not moving through. We are seeing some things happening out there that are indicative of that. And even though it's been relatively quiet today, I can tell you that a lot of things are lining up for us for this to go through. For example, we do tend to talk about Iraq first. We kind of start with that. I can tell you that we know, well, we know a few things. We know one thing about Prime Minister Abadi was overheard talking with some citizens around Mosul. We know he discussed, when he was asked what the rate of the dinar would be relative to the dollar, he gave a range that was very high, higher than we have heard, for an in-country rate for the dinar. It was higher than where the cards have been charged, and it would be a remarkable rate to see. And I believe that's where it'll be, whatever he said. I mean, this was from his mouth. So I want to say that the CBI website has not changed yet. All of the final information to be put in the Gazette we thought might be in this morning's Gazette was not in there. So the CBI, the Central Bank of Iraq website, has not shown a rate change. My own personal feeling is that'll be the last place to look for information about a rate change. I mean, eventually, yes, the CBI site will reflect the rate of the dinar. But I wouldn't go looking for it first. It's sort of, I think it may be a lagging indicator. Okay, it just will be, because whatever's on that site will be so absolute and so final. It will be the last thing, I think, to be posted. So will we see this information that we're talking about put in the Gazette tomorrow? It could be. It might be tomorrow. We don't know that, though. We haven't heard that it will be. I will say this, though. Social media in and around Iraq, in other words, all throughout the Middle East, had been, let's call it, quieted over the last several days. Several days. You might have a percentage of social media that was getting through. It was 60%. Next thing you know, there's 70% of it going through. But basically now, what we have now is no social media out of Iraq, but social media everywhere throughout the Middle East. All the surrounding countries, social media is up and running, no problem. Zain Communications covers the cell service and the communications throughout Iraq, and right now it's on hold. Now, what is good news about that is it is expected social media like Twitter and Instagram and LinkedIn and all of that is looking to come on sometime tonight. Now, I don't know what time, and we were told tonight our time, meaning East Coast time. So I don't know what time that is to happen. There was no time given. But I think that's a good sign. When that comes up, if it does come up tonight, which it should, then that's a really good sign that everything is kind of ready to go, okay? Or they wouldn't open that up, because they know once they do that, everybody tends to talk on social media and Facebook and Instagram and all that other, Twitter and everything. It gets out right away. And that's why they've kind of kept that quiet for days now, days and days. Mosul seems to be the best kept secret, even though we know it's been liberated for quite some time now. And there is an additional number of large flags that have been positioned throughout Mosul. I mean, I don't even want to say the number. It's many new flags. I think one in each, I'm not going to say each neighborhood, but each district, maybe, of Mosul. There was another really large flag, and those flags were 80 feet long by 38 feet tall, I believe was the dimension on it. And those flags, I believe, there's been a new one that's been erected from a watchtower, you know? So, you know, not even from a regular flagpole, but from a watchtower somewhere over there. So, you know, it's just, they're doing everything they can except telling us about the liberation of Mosul. However, there's been a 5-day holiday in Iraq that ended yesterday, and I think it was another EID or Eid al-Fitr or Eid al-something holiday that's normally a 3-day, maybe a 4-day, and it was extended to 5 days. And my understanding is there was a lot of celebration going on throughout Iraq and, you know, in conjunction with this holiday. And it was sort of a big thing. So that went 5 days. I think that ended yesterday. Remember, Iraq's first day of business is usually Sunday. It's Sunday. Their holy days are Friday and Saturday. And that's kind of their weekend, if you will. And then their Sunday is their first day of business starting. So the other things that we're hearing in terms of what's going on there is that, well, it's just all related to the liberation of Mosul. When will we find that out? When will it be known? I think fairly shortly. If everything goes according to plan, we've heard from several sources, this is our week. Now, we've heard this is our week before. I know. I've tried not to say that myself, but that's what we're hearing. I believe that's true based on the other information that we're getting, too. Let's come back and kind of revisit some things. All right. I even heard today through someone who talks with a major hedge fund person up in New York, a hedge fund trader, that because the Dow hit 21,000 today, that bodes well for us to start, you know, tonight or tomorrow. So we'll see if that holds up as well. Rates, I know you guys are interested in rates, and since our last call, we didn't do rates on Thursday. We did talk about them last Tuesday. All I can tell you is they're higher yet than they were. I think some of this period is going to work to our advantage. Some of the fact, I'm telling you one thing right now. The screen rates, the rates that are on the screen now for dinar and dong and rupiah, are really higher than some of the group rates we heard about a couple of years ago. So, you know, this is why the ability to be able to go in without essentially a group, you know, just go in on your own and negotiate your rates. Some of these rates are so good right now that many of you will be pleased with just what's on the screen. And you won't need a non-disclosure agreement for a lot of these rates, including the Zim, which is higher yet than it was before, when I talked to you before. So these currencies have been continually trading. We understand that the prosperity packages are to start going out after midnight tonight. I'm going to say Eastern time, after midnight. That's a good sign. Very good sign. Let's see. In terms of what's happening out west, we know that the core groups have been funded, and I believe everybody that has a pending status on their account, where the funds are there, they can see them, they just can't quite get access to them. My understanding is that is about to change as well. One of the large humanitarian funding sources was they had been paid, and now, as of today, they have access to their funds. Their account is in a proper status where they have access, and only they have access to it. That's a very positive move for us moving forward. As far as the rest of the, excuse me, one second. The other, the other groups that are sometimes called subgroups out west, I believe paymasters have been funded completely to take care of those. And those transactions can occur very quickly now because of the fintech system that is in place that ties us into the SIPS system, which is basically now considered the new SWIFT system all across the world. That's a very positive thing for us, to have the quickness of bank transactions. We've heard of wires that would take 18 seconds to 52 seconds to go all the way around the world. And that's very, very fast, and much faster than it used to be for bank wire transactions. So with that being said, a lot of times now the transactions that are occurring through Wells or through HSBC are essentially ledger-to-ledger transfers. And these ledger-to-ledger transfers are just that, within the same banking institution, from one account to another account within that same bank. And so they happen very, very quickly as well. Now, sometimes there's a settling period. Sometimes, depending on the amounts and depending on the transaction, there might be a 24-hour settlement period, to take place. And I think that could be the case in terms of some of the things that we're looking for. But we have heard some very positive things about, I'm going to say, windows of opportunity pointing toward anywhere from overnight tonight to the next day or so, because I think we're that close from what I understand. Tomorrow, President Trump is going to bring out his new tax plan that the administration's been working hard to get ready to put that out. And I hope that goes well and that's well discussed. I know there's been a lot of discussion about it, and I hope that comes through, because I think that's going to, not only when that news comes out, whenever that time is tomorrow, I think that, it's something that may move the stock market. Rumors of it coming out and discussion about it has moved the market in the last 2 days, yesterday and today. And that's why we touched on that 21,000 mark earlier, and I think it backed off 5 points to 20,995 today at the close. So I think everything is boding well for a very positive move in the markets, and that's kind of good for us, I believe, as well. As far as anything additional in the way of intel, I can tell you this. I am honored to be considered one to receive the toll-free number for basically what's known as the Internet Group. Those of us that have been paying attention and going, emailing and calling with that actual phone number, that toll-free number. But understand that is the only number that is to be shared. That is the only number that is to be shared. because I'm not even going to be able to leave it up on the website forever. There's a time limit. Let's see if there's anything else that's important that I can think of regarding this. I think realistically we are at the point where everyone's ready. We've been ready. The redemption centers have been from engaged status to active status. That means they are good to go. Our security is lined up and good to go. I don't know whether we will get. Let me just say this. I believe that everything is all set in the sense that once the command is given, and I couldn't tell you right now exactly who's going to give the command, because everything I've heard so far through yesterday is indicating that everything is complete. Everything is, I'm not going to use the four-letter D word, everything is complete and moving forward to where now it's just a matter of, releasing the notification. And when I do get that notification, I'll be sure to put it out on the website and send it, like I said, and we'll do a quick celebration call and probably do it as a recording, and then we'll put it up as a link on the website so you guys can listen to it. Obviously, you're more interested in getting the number, as would I be, than a 15-minute, celebration call from the big call. But some of you will want to listen to it, and I hope, I think some of you are going to want to hear Sue scream and laugh, which I would like to hear too. And who knows, maybe even Bob will say something like that. Maybe even he'll laugh or scream or say something of high emotion. Yeah, I hope so.
He'll be dancing on the bed, Bruce. Sorry, I was reading.
Yes. No, it's okay, Sue. He'll be dancing on the bed is right. Yeah. I think, you know what, Sue? I think if he can dance on the bed, I'll be dancing on the ceiling.
That's right.
You remember that song, Lionel Richie?
Yeah, that's